So you finally made the decision. You're done. You're ready to go from corporate job to consulting CEO. First, let me say congratulations. I get it. Whether you are retiring in the future, whether you've already retired, or whether you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired and have made the decision to get out of the corporate rat race, you are preparing yourself to become your own consulting boss. Love it. But the next thing that's coming to your mind is, yeah, I did it, I'm ready, but how do I do it? Well, don't worry, I got your back, because today I'm actually going to walk you through step by step the things that I did and that I recommend you do in order to go from corporate job to consulting CEO. Let's get to work. First things first, I am not going to obviously be able to get into every single detail in this short YouTube video. So if you decide that you want to go deeper and learn all of the steps to go from scratch to freedom and being your own consulting, coaching, or service providing boss, then make sure you check out my free training called the Scratch to Freedom Roadmap. It walks you through all of the steps, step by step, in order on how to start your consulting business. And I give you some tips and tools around creating a transition plan and getting your first consulting client. So make sure you can check it out. Link in the description or comments below, but you can also go right here to check it out. Let's dive into the steps that I recommend you do in order to prepare and that I actually did when I finally decided to take the leap. Step number 1, give yourself some grace. Yes, give yourself some grace. I did not do a great job at giving myself grace when I finally decided to take the leap. I was fed up and really prolonging my transition, and I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired and being in an abusive relationship with my corporate job. And so I just up and decided one day to just jump. Although I had been transitioning and creating an amazing transition plan, I don't think I was 100% confident that I should have done it when I did. And so the fear was real. And you might be feeling that exact same fear. It's okay. The fear is real. It is valid, but it is something that you have to overcome, because there's never going to be a perfect time, believe it or not. But I do think that you can put some things in place in order to be able to prepare yourself better, give yourself more confidence, and begin to kind of get control of that fear. But I also want you to know that the fear in itself can be a trap. And it's kind of giving you this, I'm going to be unstable. I'm going to have to restructure. I don't know what I'm doing, and so I might fail. And so that fear comes from what I truly contribute to limiting beliefs. And I have been on a personal development, spiritual growth journey for I don't even tell you how many years. And a big part of that has been that one nagging limiting belief that always comes back that I like to call, imposter syndrome. And you may be experiencing it as well, because you've been in this role, this corporate safety net or this security blanket for so long. The idea of going out and doing it all on your own can really create insurmountable anxiety and fear, and can really cause you to procrastinate and prolong and put it off like I did until you are either just so fed up or your retirement is like right there and you're not prepared. So I would definitely say give yourself some grace, but while you're doing that grace, prepare yourself and fill yourself with all of the information that you need in order to create a real transition plan to build that confidence so that you can start telling that little voice in your head that's telling you you're going to fail and that you can't do it to shut up. Because giving yourself the grace and understanding that the fear is real and that it's valid, but also preparing to get rid of that fear is going to be critical in this first step. So give yourself some grace and allow yourself to feel those things, but don't stay there. Don't stay stuck. Don't continue to believe what that little voice in your head is telling you, so that you don't actually take the action and move forward and ultimately get to a point of transformation and freedom that you so deserve and desire. Step number 2 is to set your intentional final date. Okay? If you have decided to retire, or you know that retirement is coming, pick a date. 100%. If you've already retired and you're already out and you're like, okay, now I know I want to do this consulting business, then you are good to go in this particular step. Or if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired and know that you ultimately want to transition, I recommend that you set an intentional quit date. So it's important to do so, because it isn't about being impulsive at this point. It's about planning for your freedom like a CEO, being who you ultimately see yourself being in the future. You ever heard the saying that you need to hang around and surround yourself with people that are already where you want to be in order for that energy to rub off on you and to give you that motivation? Exact same thing here. Setting your intentional stop date, leap date, quit date, retirement date, whatever you want to consider it, is going to give you that space where you begin to step into that CEO role even before you are the CEO. And you will begin to develop that mindset. You'll begin to take action. And those beliefs that you've had from step one that you needed to overcome will begin to dissipate because you know that you've got a goal. You're going to go after that goal, and it'll prompt you to begin to create that plan so that you can ultimately achieve that goal. So I would say pick a target date, maybe 6 to 12 months out, and then reverse engineer your business and financial milestones in order to be able to achieve that ultimate date and put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar, tell somebody else that can help hold you accountable. It becomes real when it's scheduled. It becomes real when someone else knows. And then ultimately, yes, get the information that you need in order to begin to create that transition plan. Again, I've mentioned it, my Scratch to Freedom roadmap training that's free. You can grab it. It will walk you through all the steps and also give you access to a transition plan that I used that can really give you the footing that you need in order to plow forward. Step number 3 is to carve out CEO time in your week right now. Yes. Make sure that you've got time set aside to begin working on your business dreams. It is not going to just fall out of the sky just because you say that you want the time. I thought that too, and it didn't. I had to be diligent and disciplined, just like I was scheduling a meeting for myself or doing something for my current employer that I would automatically show up for. I had to do the exact same thing for myself, and I called it my weekly CEO time. Sometimes it would be before I went to work or after I went to work. It definitely included some hours every single weekend. I liked to do Sunday evenings when everything was kind of lower pace in my house and I could just go into my office and plow through it. But once I set the time aside, I realized that on average, I was able to dedicate anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week just working on building my business dream, getting the foundations established. So I blocked out non-negotiable time, business building hours before, after work on the weekends. And I used the weekends very strategically because it wasn't to hustle through it. It really gave me time to relax and my brain wasn't filled with all of the other stuff that I had going on in my corporate job. And it also taught me a huge lesson in beginning to communicate boundaries with my family and with my friends. It was treated almost like it was a second job because I was very, very committed to the dream. And I knew that I had set this quit date and that I had a time frame to meet. And so I don't know about you, but I'm extremely goal oriented. I'm imagining you are too, or you wouldn't be here watching this video trying to get this advice and get some insight. So take a look at your calendar now and begin to block off that CEO time so that you can engage in all of the learning, learn everything that you need to do in order to be able to plow forward so that you can ultimately begin to transition from corporate job to consulting CEO. Step number 4 is to build your foundation quietly but confidently. This is literally my favorite part of the plan. And I began to kind of map out everything with relationship to my business. I went through what I teach in the Scratch to Freedom framework, all the phases. I began to really gain clarity around my business niche and my sub niche and, the type of business model that I really wanted. And it allowed me to really spend time and get still around all of those ideas because it was important for me to feel very confident in the decisions that I was making. And because I was still doing this as I was transitioning, I had the space to really feel confident and I wasn't rushing through the process. So I got real good clarity around my customer and what was out there. I did my market research. I set up my business foundations. I began looking into technology tools and marketing materials. I just really began to build my foundation. And I did it very quietly because, I didn't want to rock the boat with customers or clients at my full-time job, but I really did want to be able to have the space. And it just made me feel good knowing that I was doing something for myself, even if it wasn't public yet. So this is really my favorite step. And this is that piece where you're actually using that CEO time to build those foundations. So much so that, before I even left my job, I was able to move on to the final step and begin to really experience what it was going to be like to immerse myself completely in my business. And that brought me again to step number 5. So let's dive into that one now. And step number 5 to make this transition is to actually start getting clients as a side hustle, as a consultant. I spent quite a few months building the foundation, making sure that everything was there because, I knew I was going to be tapping into my existing network. I knew that I had a Rolodex of people that I knew that I had worked with and done work for that would believe in me, but I knew that I had to come correct. I could not be half assing it. I could not be, having a poor, process. I couldn't be like doing it real, like, janky or anything like that. So I definitely used a lot of time to build the foundations. And then I just started talking to people. When I was going to networking events or at different events, I would tell them, yeah, I'm going to be leaving and starting my own consulting business and kind of doing what I do now for you, with other folks on my own. And it really did spark a lot of interest. I was shocked at how many people that were customers or clients of mine or people that I had worked with or knew or that were colleagues were extremely interested in working with me as a consultant. It really built my confidence because they were like, oh no, CP, we want to work with you. It's not about the place, it's about you. And it was a true testament to me and a true, I think, sign from the divine that I was on the right track and that this was the right move. And I would literally leave events at that point just feeling really, really good about it. And I was very honest. I would say, no one knows yet. It's something that I've been toying with and thinking about. What do you think? And I would really tap into people's opinions of whether or not they would find useful what I was contemplating moving forward with. And believe it or not, I actually got some instant clients from it. And so I actually began to sell my stuff without being blatantly selling it and got a handful of clients under my belt, tested out my minimum viable products and tested out the services that I was thinking was testing out my pricing. And it was just an amazing feeling to know that I could do this while I was still transitioning out of my job. And so I was planning to quit, but if you're planning to retire, if you're planning to quit, if you've already retired, it's kind of like the same thing and you would still go through the same steps because ultimately you want to use this opportunity to be clear and to devise a plan. I am all about planning and strategizing before acting, and that really does give you the push that you need to do it successfully. And so, step 5 was fun. It was a bit of a shocker, but it was fun. And boy, oh boy, did it light my fire. And shortly thereafter, I think my third or fourth customer that I had while I was still in corporate, I was like, I'm out. I can do this. And I did. And one final step that I would give you if I had to add a step number 6, it would be continue to do that until the math makes sense, until you are 100% confident, until you feel like you know in your heart that you can do it. Do all of the work behind the scenes that you need to do. Build the business. Work with a coach like me to help you kind of get it set up and going. Work on the mindset that you need. Prepare your friends and family for the transition and the change as well. But keep going until the math and the mindset really makes sense for you. If you can replace a portion of your paycheck by doing it on the side, you'll know that you can replace the whole thing, then some, by doing it full time. And it's really important for you to, again, go back to step number 1 and give yourself some grace. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And you do have what it takes as long as you do it right and plan it out well. So you don't have to choose between security and success. You don't have to burn your bridges. You can build one. You can build your own bridge. The best time to start your consulting business is while you still have income, while you still have benefits, while you still have structure, because that's when you can make a strategic decision and not a desperate decision. So hopefully you found today's video very helpful. If you did, please make sure that you comment. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video. It really helps me to be able to continue to bring you content like this. Share it with someone else who might be thinking the same thing that you're thinking. And come back next Tuesday where we're going to talk about some more stuff around empowering you to approach this and build the business of your dreams so you can have a life of freedom. Until then, my loves, I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.